Day 2 of the hearings between Bowling Green City Schools and Warren County Schools resulted in 8 hours of testimony and more than 12 different witnesses. Authorities are advising if you do come up to any damage that involve power lines, please stay away from those. Those could be live, and there is water throughout the area, so that could just make for a very dangerous situation. Aside from looking at safety concerns, the city will also be looking at maintenance issues. Many boxes like this one on 31W are full of clothes and haven't been emptied in weeks. It appeared that just rain was falling from the sky, but what actually was happening was the rain was falling and immediately freezing on contact. You can see there's a thick layer of ice just about everywhere you look. Just a few years ago, this area off of Elrod Road was all farmland, but officials say as the building boom continues, more and more dump sites are being uncovered. The National Weather Service has been out here all day surveying the damage. They say the tornado has caused at least a 5-mile-long path of destruction. As you can see, there are plenty of buds and leaves already on this vine, but other farmers say they aren't worried about the frost because of the location of their crop.
We were all literally just depressed by the whole vision of what we saw.
The Pelly farm will never forget the twisted metal and devastation from January 30th EF2 tornado. But now, 2 months later, things are beginning to look a lot brighter.
We had wonderful community support. We had 100 people come out on a work day, which was just fabulous.
Flowers now replace much of the tornado debris from that day. Employees say they are always on standby to help keep the farm together.
It's not just a business. We've been here with Esley for eight years, yeah. And we're a family. And it's important to help them out and get this going back.
The Pellys say it's still a long road ahead. Sheet metal still flaps in the breeze, brick lies on the ground, and some buildings remain exposed to the elements.
So we're trying to put a roof over the little tiny bit that's existing, which was the milk parlor and the tank room, and then we're going to rebuild a barn once I get through my spring seasons.
As the growing season kicks off, Pelly is thankful she's still in business.
It didn't bother our greenhouses, it didn't hurt my daughter's house, but the barn was 100 feet wide and 300 feet long, steel, metal, and it's gone. So, but we feel truly blessed because it was, in the end, just twisted metal.
The Pellys say the action of first responders prevented the situation from becoming a tragedy. In Warren County, Brett Baldeck, WBKO. A lone teddy bear still sits at the scene on Van Meter Lane. A fire late Sunday night took the lives of father Eddie Klaus, his 1-year-old son Cole, and family friend Calvin King. Family members who live next door say it's a harsh reminder every day.
It's one thing whenever it's an adult, but when you're a little baby, it's hard to understand.
Cole's aunt Rachel Woldridge shared photos with us today, including one of the entire family just hours before the fire.
Cole always slept with a little caterpillar. He loves stuffed animals, but they're always a really close family.
The bond wasn't any more apparent Sunday night. Eddie Klaus is being called a hero. 4 others, including the mother Shauna Klaus, were able to escape the burning home.
He got Aiden out. He came back in to get Cole, and Shauna couldn't move. She couldn't breathe, where she stood up and stood straight into the smoke. So he helped her out, and he went back in to get Cole, the baby, and they never made it back out.
Eddie paid the ultimate sacrifice to save a family he always cared deeply for.
They never went anywhere without each other. Everybody knew that Eddie would do anything for anybody, especially those kids.
Today, the scene where the family called home remains quiet, with caution tape and children's toys scattered throughout. The state fire marshal has concluded the fire was accidental, starting in the ceiling near a light fixture. In Grayson County, Brett Baldeck, WBKO. The Logan County Humane Society says it's one of the largest cases of animal neglect they have seen. More than 25 dogs found in this home on Kenny Stratton Road, some chained far away and out of sight.
They've just not had enough food, and I'm sure they've got lots of worms. I mean, they're just been severely neglected.
An anonymous tip from a neighbor led authorities to the animals. The homeowner was surprised by the visit because he didn't believe anything was wrong.
We feed them twice a day. I work and she works too. I work for the railroad, and she works in Franklin. And by the time we come in, we feed them, and then feed them before we leave. But they said it was on the nurse.
Authorities saw a different story. One by one, each dog was carried away. So many dogs were found on property. A large truck was brought in. Do you feel like maybe that how many dogs you have, do you think that's a problem?
Nah, I don't believe it was no problem at all, sir. I mean, you take an animal shelter, they overdogged. Need a better home for where you can take the animals.
But the Humane Society says their shelter is that better home.
We're going to take them to the Humane Society, and our vets are going to come out and help us evaluate them, vet them, see what we need to do with them, and hopefully we can save every one of them and get them healthy and get them to good homes through our rescue program.
Sammy Boyd says he and his wife will continue their fight to get their dogs back. In Logan County, Brett Baldeck, WBKO.